Hi, I'm Graham Hill, and I'm the creator of the app that you're looking at the moment. This app is in Android version, but I'm displaying it on my PC because it's easier to display and it's bigger, and I can go through it very quickly and simply with you to explain how this works. Now, if you've ever been confused by the various lease profiles that you've been offered on various cars, then this is going to take all the confusion out of all the different calculations that you've had to go through in the past to try and decide which is going to be the most suitable for you and which is offering you the best value for money. Now, this app does one of two things. It can either, and you can read all the header information here, but we can either evaluate each lease individually and decide whether it's good value or not, or we can use it to compare various cars. So if you're comparing, say, a Ford Mondeo with a Toyota Avensis, and one's on a profile, and by profile I mean the number of rentals in advance followed by the number of rentals that follow. So in other words, you could have a 6 plus 35, comparing that with a 3 plus 23 or a 9 plus 47 if it's a 4-year deal. It's very, very confusing whether you're running a fleet of cars or whether you're looking for an individual car for yourself and you want to know whether a car is particularly good value or whether it compares well with another car that's on offer at the same time. So I'm going to take you through that and explain how this very, very simple calculator works and how it's going to take the drudgery out of making that decision as to which car to go for. Now, the first thing I would always say is do not just base your decision on the headline rate, on the rate that you've been offered on the car. There's so much more to a lease agreement. There's so many more implications that could leave you out of pocket. So make sure you fully understand what you're getting involved in legally before you sign a contract. But this just gives you a little bit of an idea, a bit of an indicator as to which cars are offering you best value for money and takes all the confusion out of the different profiles that are out there. Everything has to be calculated on 10,000 miles per annum. So that's the one consistent thing we do need to have, and also base it on the basic car. So don't compare one that's loaded up with lots of extras with another that isn't. You can do it with and without the metallic paint because a lot of the contracts and a lot of the leases that you'll be offered, they include free metallic paint, but obviously we've got to incorporate that into what I'll show you in a moment is the on-the-road cost to make sure that we're showing you the best value for money, because obviously if the car does include metallic paint and it's at the same rate as a car that doesn't include metallic paint, then obviously you're getting a better deal on the car that does include the metallic. So that's the reason we need to incorporate metallic, but everything else, any other extras, leave them out and just work on the basic car. So the first thing we've got to do is, and I've input one of the cars that we had on a special offer a couple of weeks ago, and on this particular car, the Vauxhall 2-litre CDTI design, 140, I've already pre-populated that field. You just have to type that in if you want to. You don't have to type that in. The app will work perfectly well without that information. But if you're going to save this, and you can save these, you can preview as a PDF, you can save it as a PDF, and you can email it to one of your email addresses as a PDF and then print it out at some later stage. These other fields, you can contact us, it gives you information on how to contact us. You can buy a copy of my book, it takes you off to Amazon to buy a copy of the book if you want to, and also it takes you off to my blog so you can read all my latest news briefs and bits of information that I put on there. So let's get back to this form. We need the on-the-road cost. Now, if you click there, and I'm not going to click it because it confuses the app at the moment. It works perfectly well when you use it, but it on here, whilst I'm recording the screen, it does cause a bit of confusion. What it does take you off to car pages, which shows the cost of all your cars. Now, let me first of all take you off to, I'm going to take you to, in the first instance, I'm going to go to the Insignia, the Vauxhall website, where I've been working through the build your car application on that website, and as you can see, I've put in the details of the car, and it shows the on the road at 19,334. I've also included metallic paint. That's another £545, which we've got to add to the 19,334 for the on the road figure, and that's the on the road price of the car on the website. And that comes to 19,879, which is the figure that we'll be putting onto the. So you can do it this way if you want to, or you can go onto the car pages. I'll just take that screen down a little bit. So on here we're on the. Sorry. So just so that you can see the website, it's on car pages and it's linked to within the app. So it takes you off here, you put in Vauxhall, it's a drop down box, and the model, it's got the drop down box there, so we've put insignia in, and then it goes off and it finds all the insignias, different models and things, and we'll have a look down on the page on that one. I'll run it down in 1 second. And here you can see the all the different versions of the insignia. The one we're looking at is the design. It's a 2-litre CDTI EcoFlix with a stop-start. It's the 140 PS, not the 163 below it. It's the 140 PS, and as you'll recall, 19,334 is the price of the car. You can add about £500 to the cost of any car that you find on here. If you can't find the cost of metallic, just so that we're in the right ballpark, you can add it. It's not going to make a fantastic amount of difference. It will be marginal. It'll still come up with the sort of result that you need to make your decision. So we're going to go back to the app now. And here we are back on the app, and the first thing we're going to do is now put in the on the road cost. Now at the end of each line you'll notice there's a question mark, and it explains to you what's required in each one of those fields. In this case you've got enter the list price including VAT and delivery, enter the amount in pounds only without any commas. So if it was 10,550, ignore the commas, just put 10,550. In this case, as you'll remember, it is 19,879. So 19,879. So moving down the page now, we've got a number of. Oh, sorry, I didn't. So let me just take you back to move that screen over so you can see what I'm actually doing here. So there you go. So we're back on the screen. So as you can see, I've entered in that 19,879. Now we're going to move again this field. We're looking at the number of payments in advance. So if it's a 3 plus 23, it's the 3, as we say there. And if it's a 6 plus 35, for example, it will be 6. And if it was a 9 plus 35, it would be a 9. So whatever the advance payments are, that goes in there. So in this case, we're looking at 6. So we've got the drop down here, and that goes into that box there. So now any fees and charges, we've got no documentation fees or anything else excluding VAT. The number of monthly payments, again, we'll have a look and see what that means. Number of monthly payments, if it's a 3 plus 23, it's that second figure there, so it'll be 23. 6 plus 35, be that figure there. So in this case, I know that this was a 6 plus 35. So let's go scroll through this. And it's a 35. So there you go, 6 plus 35. And the monthly payment on this was £209 per month. Round pounds again. So if it's you don't need to enter a pound sign in there because it's already pre-populated. And if the payment's 216.65 a month plus the VAT, just enter 215.65. There you go. So it's simple. Contract period in months. We asked this because some of these might be a 6 plus 30, but it's actually a 36-month agreement. There could be holiday payments in there, and all sorts of other. So you need to know exactly what your contract period is. in most instances it's fairly straightforward. This is a 36-month agreement, so the 36 goes in there. Now, to calculate the GIL factor, which is the factor we then look at on our list to see how good the deal is, press the calculator and it comes up with 1.44. We can go down here now, how to assess your Graham Hill lease factor, and 1.44 makes it very good, great value. You'll find very, very few actually fit within that excellent category. We've had a few. We had a few to start this year off. We had quite a few towards the end of last year. This one is still very good value for money. Well worth considering. You need to get on that one before it goes, but it still represents good value. Now, if you then want to, we'll show you what that looks like as a PDF. And there you go. You can now see what that looks like. It gives you all the different fields that you've completed over there, and it shows you the values that you can compare with the 1.44. So you can then email that to yourself, or you can email it to any other of your email addresses, or to someone else if you want to show that it's good value for money. Or you can go back and, let's say for example, we're back on the screen again now. Let's say for example someone else has offered you a similar deal on the same car, but instead of 6 plus 35 they've done it on a 9 plus 23. So let's go back and we'll fill out these fields, and we'll change that from a 6 to a 9, and it's a 23-month agreement. 9 plus 23, and in this case it's 189. So you might look at that and you think, well, actually that's not a bad deal. We need to take that back out. 189, we'll put it in there, and the contract period in this case is a 24-month agreement, so we're going to put 24 months in there. And you might look at that and think, well, yeah, okay, £189, it's a cheaper monthly payment, but is it as good as the last one, which was at 1.44? We'll calculate, and oh, it's not such a good deal. It's 1.52. So it's actually put it beyond the very good, and it's dropped us into good, well worth a look and good value, but you've now got to decide which of those two deals. It's certainly not the best deal, but the monthly payments and the 9 in advance might suit you better, and just take it over 2 years. So there's various things you might want to take into account there. So as I say, you can then view that, and you could email that to yourself, and you can see let's have a look at the preview, and there's the preview again, and it's a 1.52 on this one, and you can save it in your file as your second quote, and you can see your profile at 9 plus 23 at £189 a month. It's a 24-month agreement. So you can now see from doing the various different calculations which is a good deal and which is not such a good deal. Now you could obviously have entered a Ford Mondeo, or you could have had a Toyota Avensis, something of a similar ilk, on a completely different profile, and then decided which actually represents best value for money. So it's very, very flexible. It's a fantastic tool for you to have if you're a fleet user, or if you're a private individual looking to compare the different lease deals that have been made available to you, either through the dealership or online, or from a manufacturer, or from whoever is offering you the various different profiles. You can compare them now and decide which is a good deal and which isn't. Hopefully that's going to help you in your decision-making process. As I say, don't just rely on this. This is just there as a guide for you to assess which is good value. But don't forget, the most important thing when taking out a lease is the contract you're getting into, and making sure that you're using someone that knows what they're doing and can give you best advice. I'm Graham Hill. I hope you found that useful. We will be releasing this as a general release fairly soon in the app stores, as Android as well as an iOS Apple app. So watch this space. It will be released fairly soon. Thanks very much for watching. Bye bye for now.